It's Friday, so welcome to On Cooldown, the show where we talk WoW news. Today we will discuss the Q&A and a future level squish. Will we return to level 60 being the max? The Crucible of Storms items are getting fixed, buffed, more damage, more relevancy to fun items. Esports, Mythic Dungeon Invitational starting soon, and Arena World Championship to receive funding from store purchases. A bug has been discovered, exploited, and people have been banned. Are you one of them? Also, WoW is free this weekend. Hello you bastards, the week is over! And what better way to start the weekend than by gaming and catching up on the latest WoW news. Together with my buddy Orc, we will bring you the happenings of WoW in the last week. Ion and Josh had a Q&A yesterday discussing major vital topics like transmog chest and how it's unfair we cannot transmog our chest piece into nothing piece because in war, men don't wear armor on their pecs. Ian and Josh talked some stuff about giving us the option to hide our chest piece armor so we can show off our tats. But more importantly, there was an actual good question about the speed of leveling and more importantly the quality of it as well. In answering the question, Ian admitted that they were wrestling with the idea of a level squish in the future, seeing as how there are so many levels to go through today and gaining a new level isn't exciting anymore. And it isn't. Gaining a level doesn't really mean anything at the moment. We don't get a new spell or a new talent for every level up until 120, and for the last part, well, we get pretty much nothing at all for the last 20 levels. That's not a fun thing to have in an RPG. We would like to see a return to levels being meaningful, where each level would do something, unlock a spell, or a talent, or a class-specific quest involving abilities and such. Leveling up has always been the main representation of progression in an RPG. However, WoW is designed in such a way that the endgame content can only be accessed by max level characters, making all prior levels pretty much useless and uninteresting. What's more, a level squish might improve a lot more than the perception of progression. It could solve some stat squish issues that we will always inevitably face. By the end of BFA, players will most likely reach HP levels ranging in the 500k to 1 million, seeing as how tanks now already go over 400k HP. Meaning that in the next expansion we'll be back to Legion numbers and we will see millions across the screen again. Will they stat squish again and again and again? Right now it takes 120 levels to reach something like 60-80k HP pools, and then you gear up and triple that within the second patch of the expansion. I personally don't find the current leveling system meaningful, interesting, or anything other than bothersome because simply I don't have a reason to care for anything that's not max level. If you disagree, then tell me, what's the point of doing anything in the game if you're not already at max level? There have been some other issues addressed during the Q&A. You Portal enthusiasts will be pleased to know that we will be getting a portal to Caverns of Time. That and a new UI update to help with navigation through the world in spite of recent portal pruning. You guys made some decent points in the comments of the last video with how tedious the portal change is. And I pretty much agree with this entire statement. I don't think the current portal situation is ideal, but I don't like the way things were before either. The solution needs to be implemented, but neither situation is ideal for me. I don't feel like I'm a part of a world anymore, only the most recent islands added to the game. And what they are doing now with the auction house being in the main cities as well as portals is literally artificially creating traffic to provide us with a, well, artificial sense of community presence. Yeah, I like going into Orgrimmar and Stormwind and seeing lots of people everywhere, but I want to visit those places because I have a good reason. And them being the only places where you can find one basic thing, like the auction house in the whole world, is not the best way to do it. Aside the potential level squish they announced and how that will affect us, there wasn't much for me to feel good about in the Q&A. Ian made some claims that their focus is to make the game fun, regardless of what we think about them catering to the aspirations of the investors. But the general feel is that they don't really know what's fun anymore. The way they talked about gear, about gold, makes me believe they have a different perception of entertainment than mine. which I'm not sure if it's something to be surprised about or a perfectly reasonable thing. Fun is subjective, right? My way of fun isn't the right way of fun, and it might differ than your way of fun. And talking about fun, we have the new Crucible items on our table today. If you don't know yet, the new mini raid that's about to come will still be a part of the current raid tier, even if the loot table is 5 eye levels above. And the loot itself is what's interesting. We will have items with procs, items that have interesting and fun effects for us to take advantage of instead of a big chunk of secondary stats. And these effects are getting buffed now. Why is this important? Well, there's a big reason why I believe this matters. The simple fact that they are getting addressed still means that Blizzard really cares about these items being used, meaning they care about the itemization system going forward to a place where we can remember the name of our items. The numbers being buffed shows that they have done extensive testing with them and want them to be desirable. The main issue the majority of people have with the new mini raid is that it won't have an incentive in terms of loot big enough to keep people interested. Think about it. People who raid and most likely cleared Heroic, or let's say will clear it by the time Crucible is out, will be out gearing Heroic of Crucible by quite a margin. And the new Heroic difficulty of Crucible won't be a big deal if it rewards just 5 eye levels more. This is where the effects come into play. Effects are not that straightforward as eye level. Effects make for cool items, and cool items provide incentive to raid, at the very least more incentive than getting the same pair of pants just with 15 eye levels more. On another topic, esports is a thing to discuss. Esports for WoW means Mythic Dungeon Invitational and Arena World Championship. Well, the MDI time trials start this weekend. Time trials are kind of like preliminary rounds for people to undertake and qualify for the actual MDI tournament. If you're interested in participating or simply watching the event, check out worldofwarcraft.com/esports for all of the details regarding the upcoming Mythic Plus rounds. Moving to the AWC, which will be resuming this weekend, we have store changes. Wait, what? What does one have to do with the other? Well, if you're not familiar with the Overwatch League and more prominently with the Dota 2 esports scene, we can support the championship by purchasing specific store items, and a part of the money will contribute to the prize pool. Bigger prize pool makes for a more entertaining event. Blizzard has stated that these gains will be in effect for a limited time, which bums me out a bit. Why not have these items permanently contribute to the prize pool? Or maybe help fund the event further, extend its range? I don't know. But one can argue that one of the main reasons Dota 2 is so successful as an esports is because the incentive keeps people hooked. The game is awesome, of course, but so are a lot of games out there that have steadily lost their support and exposure, and one thing they have in common is a smaller prize pool. Why would players dedicate hours and hours per day to train for a competition if they won't get anything for it to compensate their time investment? This is a step in the right direction in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to see the competitive WoW scene expand more and more. Lastly, a recent bug with 8.1.5 has been discovered, and if you weren't careful, you might have abused it without realizing it. I know for sure I was close to doing it myself. The bug relates to the XP potion we buy from the Warfront vendor. And now, it's not the duration missing from its icon in the UI that's the bug, but the fact that multiple usages will make the effect stack with itself. Clearly, this was not intended, and as a result, Blizzard has issued temporary bans for the abusers ranging for up to 31 days. Of course, people are not happy with the bans, and we can see arguments like, why are players punished for Blizzard's mistake? Those arguments come from a fair point of view, but they aren't making a fair argument. Come on people, it's not like this is the first time this kind of thing happens, and it's clearly not like those who obviously exploited the bugs didn't know it was happening. I mean really, who would stack them intentionally and not realize they were getting loads more XP than felt normal? I'm not trying to take sides, but guys, be careful, alright? When you find the bug that's in the game, just report it. We know Blizzard bans people for exploiting bugs, it's not news. And to commemorate the banned people who won't be playing this weekend, we can welcome old people that will play for free. That's right, Blizzard has opened up the game for everybody this weekend for free. You can play without a subscription all through March the 24th. To play BFA, you have to own BFA, sure. And hey, if you don't have the game yet, you can buy it with a 20 bucks discount or the equivalent in your country. Listen, I know we will get comments like, "Lol, buy BFA, might as well go back to school instead." I'm not going to tell you guys to resub. The game is not in its best state, but it's clearly getting better with each update. Is that enough for you guys to resub? I don't know, play this weekend and find out, since that's a question you need to answer. But I would be lying if I wouldn't say that the game would be better with more people in it. If anything, it gives Blizzard a larger sample size to tell them to put PvP vendors back in the game. Brush up on your Resto Shaman with our latest guide on healing. A quick rundown of talents, gear, rotation and more, and you can start raiding and doing dungeons on your Resto Shaman right now. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter to get updates with all the new videos, live streams and WoW news shows that we will have in the near future. And a big shout out to our newest Patreon, Auntie Matter. We are super psyched to have you on board on our team and cannot thank you enough for all of your support. It's clearly not required and we love all of you who make our channel possible. Thanks for watching the video, I'll see you in the next one.